Hi, I'm Mira from Guild of Agents. Supply chains are the next frontier for AI disruption. We'll show how mid-market companies can use AI workflows to avoid costly Oracle migrations and build something better. Full resources discussing how N8N and Lovable can enable these workflows are at our free school community and Escher AI website with links below. Let's dive in.
There's this massive shift happening in the business world right now. And what's wild is that a big move by a tech giant is kind of accidentally kicking off an AI revolution in one of the most important parts of our economy, supply chains. Let's dig in. Really think about that for a second. The absolute core system that runs everything, your money, your products, your entire operation. What if someone told you, yeah, you gotta rip that out and start all over? Well, for thousands of businesses, this isn't some late-night thought experiment. It's the high-stakes reality they're dealing with as we speak. So it all starts with what we're calling the big squeeze. And right at the center of it is the software giant Oracle. They're basically putting their customers in a really tough spot, forcing them into a very difficult and very expensive decision. It's like a forced march into a new world, and it doesn't matter if you're ready for it or not.
See, for any company running on Oracle's e-business suite, which is their core software, the choice they're being given isn't just a simple update. No, it's a brutal, binary decision. Path number one, a massive on-premise upgrade that's basically a complete redo of everything. Or path number two, move your entire operation to Oracle's cloud. And let me tell you, neither of those paths is easy, and they are definitely not cheap.
And when I say not cheap, I really mean it. Get this. The cost to move just one single part of your business, like your HR system, can run you over $400,000. Now, just imagine you're a distributor with all these complex systems for inventory, for orders, for buying things. Those costs just stack up, one on top of the other, easily pushing the grand total into the millions. But honestly, the pain goes so much deeper than just the price tag. First off, what they sell as a simple lift and shift turns into a rip and replace nightmare. All those unique ways of doing things you've built over, say, 15 years to get an edge on your competitors, poof, they're gone. Second, it completely changes your finances. You go from owning your software to being trapped in a never-ending subscription. And third, and this is the real kicker, it can actually be a huge step backwards strategically. You're forced to use generic one-size-fits-all processes instead of the very ones that made you successful in the first place.
Okay, so faced with this big squeeze, you'd think companies are stuck, right? Well, a really clever countermove is starting to pop up. Instead of picking between Oracle's two bad options, these savvy companies are actually creating their own third path. They're embracing a strategy that's being called the hollow core. And it's just a beautifully simple three-step move. First, they drop Oracle's super expensive support contract. Step two, they hire a specialized company to maintain their current system, but for a fraction of the cost. We're talking cutting maintenance bills in half. And then, step three, this is the brilliant part, they take all that money they just saved and plow it into the best, most modern AI solutions they can find. What this does is it creates a whole new way of setting up their tech. The old Oracle system becomes the hollow core. It's still there, acting as a stable, cheap system of record. Think of it like a reliable old ledger book. But the real brains of the operation, the forecasting, the smart decisions, all the cool stuff, that gets moved to a brand new intelligent layer of modern AI tools that just sits right on top. So that brings us to the real hero of our story today, modern AI. Why on earth would companies be willing to completely rethink their IT strategy just for this? Well, it's because AI can see and understand things that these old legacy systems are completely blind to.
Okay, here's the problem in a nutshell. Your classic ERP system can only handle structured data. The neat little rows and columns in a database. But that's only 20% of the story. A whopping 80% of all business data is what we call unstructured. It's the stuff in emails, in contracts, in shipping documents. Your old system has no idea that a supplier just emailed you saying, hey, we might be late. Not until a person actually reads it and manually types it in.
Let's make this real. Think about processing documents. For decades, the best we had was this thing called OCR. And it's brittle. If a vendor just changes the layout of their invoice, the whole system breaks. It needs constant babysitting. But the new AI, using large language models, it reads a document like a person does. It gets the context, so it couldn't care less if the layout changes. It just adapts instantly. And the results are just staggering. We've seen tests on complex invoices where the old tools are struggling to hit 60% accuracy. The new LLM tools, they're hitting over 97%. Now, that leap isn't just a small improvement, it's a total transformation. That's the difference between needing a whole team of people doing data entry and needing, well, almost nobody. It completely changes the economics of a company. So what's happened is that this disruption has set the stage for a classic David versus Goliath showdown. On one side, you've got the huge established giants, your Microsofts, your SAPs. And on the other, you've got this new wave of nimble, smart, AI-native companies. And they are all fighting for control of the modern supply chain.
And they are playing two completely different games. The big incumbents, they're playing defense. Their whole strategy is to protect their existing territory, so they're sticking little AI assistants or co-pilots inside their massive software suites. Meanwhile, the AI-native challengers are playing offense. They're not trying to do everything. They're building super specialized tools that solve one specific, really high-value problem better than anyone else.
You can see this difference clear as day in how they charge you. The giants sell you access to their software, usually priced per person per month. It's about selling seats. But the AI natives, they sell you a business outcome. Their price is often based on the actual value they create for you, on the return on investment you get. It's a fundamental switch from selling a tool to selling a guaranteed result. All right, so when you put all these pieces together, the hollow core strategy, the insane power of these new AI models, and the rise of these specialized companies, you start to get a glimpse of a radically different future, a future where our supply chains actually start to run themselves. But hang on, there's a huge risk here, right? A big question for any IT leader. If you just start adopting a dozen of these amazing but separate AI tools, how do you stop it all from becoming this chaotic, disconnected Frankenstein's monster of software? How do you make sure the planning AI is actually talking to the shipping AI? Well, the elegant solution is something called a smart data fabric. The best way to think about it is this. Instead of trying to move all your data into one giant, messy lake, the fabric creates a smart layer that just sits on top of everything. It knows how to talk to your old Oracle system, to your spreadsheets, and to all your new AI tools. It's basically a universal translator, giving all your AIs one single source of truth without ever having to move a single byte of data. And that right there enables the final, mind-blowing leap. We are moving from a world of integrated software to a world of interoperating agents. What that means is your software won't just be swapping data anymore. Instead, you'll have autonomous AI agents that collaborate by swapping goals. The logistics agent will spot a delay, and it'll tell the procurement agent, hey, go find and negotiate another option, all before a human even knows there's a problem. So, here's the bottom line. The pressure from these old-school vendors is forcing a change, and that change is creating the perfect opportunity for a new, intelligent, and autonomous way of running the most critical parts of our businesses. Which really leaves us with one last, pretty wild thought to chew on. Is your company's next supply chain manager not going to be a person at all, but a whole team of collaborating AI agents?
That's the playbook. Grab the resources below, and I'll see you in the guild.